What up, what up, what up? I'm AC Cruz. You know who you are. Welcome to my podcast. But you knew that. You knew exactly what you were clicking on. Now, although this is a repost, a rerun, it's Elida Reyna. Elida Reyna has been busy since she was here, which is May 5th, 2019. The last time she was here with her husband, Lalo. She's been super busy. For example, she won her second Grammy. So congrats. She's working on a new EP. Collaborations with Bobby Pulido. She wants to do one with the Little Joe, Johnny Arrola, Palominos, and so much more. And now she's had success with duets before, like Jesse Turner, Jay Perez, Michael Stragado, Lucky Joe. So you can bet it's going to be fire. And this episode, you hear a promotion that we did for Mother's Day, but that was back then. So don't bother finding out where to register. Just FYI. Aquí mi raza. Algo gratis, vámonos chinga. But first, I gotta share something with you guys. I'm losing my voice because I talked to so many people in less than 5 minutes. It was crazy. Apparently, I was dead or something. Somebody from the valley said that me falleció, que... Anyway, so I got a call from my good friend, dear mentor, Hugo de la Cruz. I got a call from Joe Espinosa, an engineer for the radio stations that I used to work at. ¿Quién más? My good friend, dear friend of my father's, good friend of mine, Frank Zuniga, Brenda de Huerta, Mando Sarroman. Forget about it. All kinds of calls. I'm fine. Luckily, I'm here for another episode of my podcast. Now I know how Hugo felt when I called him about his passing. No, hombre. Here's the phone call. Estoy hablando con Hugo de la Cruz del Mágico Valle de Texas. ¿Qué onda, mi Hugo? ¿Qué onda?
Ok, casi tu papá, dilo. Que casi soy tu padre, cabrón. Y además también, y yo sinceramente, todos andaban diciendo acá en el Valle que AC Cruz había fallecido. A mí me dio lo tristeza. Dije, no, yo le voy a llamar a AC para que salir de dudas. Y por eso te marqué para decirte, no. Entonces de ahí nace un chiste que te voy a contar, que se llama Hierba mala nunca muere.
Así es.
Ok. Gusto saludarte y bendiciones. Ok.
Igualmente, mano. Cuídate mucho, ¿eh?
Ándale, cuídate igual. Adiós.
Adiós. That's it. Para que sepan, la cosa mala nunca muere. Gracias a Dios, I'm still here. And hopefully I'll be around for a bit longer. Let's get on with the show.
The incomparable Elida Reyna. Aside from winning Tejano Music Awards, a Latin Grammy, Elida sits down and chats with AC about everything from a new cosmetic line called Colores by Elida, her banquet hall in her hometown of Mercedes, Texas, not to mention her music. All this and more on this episode of Cruise Control with AC Cruz behind the mic with Elida.
Testing 1, 2. Check. Right,
What's up?
What's
going
up?
on
What's
with
up?
Elida Reyna? Everything good?
Reina.
So you like my Febreze?
I love it.
What does it smell like?
Cucumbers.
I don't want it. You can have it. Take it with you.
It smells fresh.
Yeah, I like it. I like the what's it called? Linens? What's it called? Something linens?
Oh, like white linen.
White linen. Yeah.
Linen or something like that.
Yeah. But
You
hey,
know that Lalo's Reina, right?
what's that now?
You know that his last name is Reina?
I heard that he took your name. And I said, well, shit, if I was married to Elida Reyna, and she's so gorgeous, and she's so talented, I would change my name too. I'm serious. I mean, here's the deal. I was going to get married to this chick, and she had to tell her partner that we were seeing each other, but AC Winfrey didn't sound right. You know what I'm saying? Hello, Elida Reyna. ¿Qué pasó, amiga? ¿Qué me cuentas?
Mucho, pues hay mucho que platicar.
¿Qué ha habido? ¿Qué onda? ¿Qué me cuentas de mi querido Valle de Texas?
Oh, mi querido Valle, los quiero mucho. A mi gente del mágico Valle de Texas.
Do you miss it? You've only been gone how long?
I haven't been gone yet. I haven't left yet.
Elida Reyna, Lalo Reyna, how are you guys?
Fantastic, wonderful.
Lalo, it's the first time that I met you, brother.
Nice to meet you. I heard the voice as a kid for many years.
Come on now, get out of here.
And so it's great to match the voice with the face now.
Well, some people say that I have a face for radio. That's what they have. I've heard that before. Anyway, how's it going, guys?
Great. It's great, yeah. Working a lot and staying busy. You know, I have kids now, so.
No, you do.
No, yeah. So for the past 18 years, yeah. So it's gotten easier to
Are they
juggle.
18 now?
My daughter's 18 and my son's 17, and then the baby's 12.
Yeah.
So she's not a baby anymore.
Wow. That's great, though.
Yeah, it is great.
That is awesome because you remember my daughter. You met my daughter
Yes.
a long time ago.
Yes.
She's 24 now.
24.
And I am a grandfather.
Wow.
I got
Congrats.
two beautiful grandkids. Awesome.
Congratulations.
Awesome. And as to you as well.
Thank you.
Anyway, so before we get started, the two kids are from the previous marriage.
Yes.
And I remember when you were getting, obviously not to Mr. Lalo here, but when you got married to the other guy.
Yeah.
I showed up to your wedding in a limo with a bunch of other DJs. We crashed your party.
Did you really?
You remember all the DJs?
There was
Okay, here's
like your wedding. You.
Oh, yeah, well,
you hardly remember. Well, you don't. It's not that you don't want to remember. It's just there was just so much going on.
Yes, you forget.
And that you forget. I mean, there were so many people at the wedding. I mean, it was more like a concert, which I kind of regret.
Exactly. Well, I will tell you this though, I love it because we showed up. We were having our own celebration because that's where the ratings come out. We were celebrating the ratings out, so we're out drinking. We said,
So you crashed my wedding.
"Yes." yes. They said, "Elida's getting married tonight at the Villarreal. Let's go."
Really? Yeah. Wow. And my dad, after a while, he got tired of having people like show their invitation. He's like, just open the doors, and everybody come in.
Yeah.
So they let everybody in.
Great. It
Yeah.
was awesome. Yeah.
We had like 2,000 people show up. So now, and then it was your turn.
Then I got married.
And then you got married.
And Elida was nice enough to show and sing a song, Duele. You sang Duele.
Yeah.
With Héctor Guerra y Mariachi Continental.
At your wedding, yeah.
Right, at my wedding.
Yeah, and you had Límite at your wedding?
Límite, Ramon Ayala, Palominos, oh God. Bobby Pulido, my best man. I can't remember who was a guest and who was there to perform. It was the longest engagement and the shortest wedding. Anyway, for you, it's working out well.
Yeah, it is. And, well, as you know, I'm divorced.
Okay.
I'm divorced, and I have two beautiful kids, Natalia and Justin. Natalia, 18, Justin, 17. And then Lalo and I have been married now for 7 years. We've been together 13 years. So, que aguante. No, I'm just kidding. I'm sure he's saying more. I'm sure he has more reasons to complain. No, but we have a great relationship.
Did you say, well, I won't have to change my name because
I don't have to change my name.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Was that a selling point?
Well, first of all, isn't that freaky that, we both have, it's one thing to be like a Garza or a Rodriguez, but I don't know, is Reyna pretty common? I'm not sure. I don't think so,
yeah.
And so to have the same initials, because his name is, everybody calls him Lalo.
Lalo?
And everybody calls me like L, just for short.
Yeah.
But his name is Eulalio, and I'm Elida. So our initials are the same.
Yeah.
ER.
Yeah.
So when we went on tour, we did this tour with the divas with Shelly and Stephanie.
Yeah.
And I didn't know him.
Phenomenal. Go ahead.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun. And so like when we'd be touring and then they do roll call and they would always say, Eula, and I'd always, like, I'm here. And it wouldn't be me. They'd be calling Lalo. And I was like, who the hell has a name similar to mine? And coming to find out, I didn't know that Lalo's name was Eulalio,
Yeah.
Yeah, so that was pretty neat.
How did you guys meet?
We met, I heard his name be mentioned, like, when he was about 16 years old. He was playing with Fandango back in the day.
Cabrón,
and I was on the road with Cande and Noe, with the original.
Who
I know,
guys?
who are they, right? who doesn't know them? And so I remember...
we'll get to them in a minute.
Yes. Hector from Fandango he used to live in the valley, so we would meet up and he would come back home with us.
Yeah.
Because I guess his group would disband here in San Antonio. So then on the way home, he was always talking about this awesome drummer, that he's a badass drummer, And come to find out, he goes, yeah, his name's Lalo Reyna, he's from Corpus Christi. And so then we just kind of heard about him here and there, And then years and years later, and Lalo, of course, had known about Elida Avante because he was a fan before we met.
Yeah.
And then we got to do this Divas tour. And at that time, he was working with Stephanie. We all had our groups. We all had our band members.
Sure.
And he was, at that time, working with Stephanie. So it was just natural for them to invite him to come, on tour with us. And that's where we met. We met while we were actually, on tour, yeah. We did some shows in Guam and Japan and Korea. So we got to gig together. And I remember what stood out about him was that he was very outspoken in the sense that what's right is right and what's wrong is wrong. And he just felt that there were some changes that need to be made and I just really felt like, wow, like he said what I should have said, and I was the artist. I should have spoken up. But actually, he was the one that mentioned, hey, these are some songs that we need to be learning for Elida, for Shelly, for, stuff like that. And I just remember thinking like, wow, I just remember that standing out, that he was somebody that eventually down the line, even to this day, somebody that has always to this day had my back,
Right on.
Yeah.
Is that how it happened, Lalo?
Sort of. I think we hit it off with La Mafia because we were in Korea, and I was in the back of the bus, and I was just listening to, I think, Explosive or one of the old Mafia records. I'm a huge Mafia fan.
Yeah, me too.
And so I was listening to the record, and I think she turned around and said, who's that? And I said, well, it's me. And we just kind of hit it off. But the thing is, I was already a fan of her music since I was 14, 15 when I first heard her first records.
But I was like, who the hell's playing La Mafia? And we were in Korea.
Yeah.
And I was like, who's playing that? And then coming to find out that it was Lalo. And so I always say this story that, I say that he had me at La Mafia.
I love it. That's cool.
Yeah,
cool.
Because I think that was kind of the turning point. Aside from the fact that he showed leadership is what I think is what I admired about him. He started showing those leadership qualities early on. And so that's the first time I ever mentioned that.
He took initiative.
Yeah, he took initiative. Yeah.
Women are turned on.
It's a turn on.
It's a turn on. Yeah. I mean, look at me. I'm 6'2", 300 pounds, but I'm still pulling the hotties. You know what I'm saying? Because I know what I want. Puro pinche pedo, tía. Anyway, Lalo, welcome, brother. Good to meet you. I'm happy to hear the story how you guys met. That's cool. Yeah. Elida, you mentioned Cande, Epi, Noe.
Yes.
Esos cabrones, and I call them cabrones con cariño.
Oh, yeah.
They were there from the beginning.
Yeah.
Please tell me how it all started.
Well, it all started when I actually, I've known Noe forever. And Noe and I used to sing I used to sing mariachi at UTPA, which is now UTRGV.
I'm talking before that.
Before that.
Mercedes, right?
Mercedes, yeah. I mean, yeah, well, I was about 14, 15, 16, and I started singing locally.
No, but who did you get the gene from? The musical gene?
Well, then before, they were talking like, 9 years old. Okay, yeah, because, I mean, early on, it started pretty early on. I remember telling my dad, I'm going to be a Tejano singer.
You're going to tell him?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, like I freak out with my kids because they're still like kind of in limbo. Layla knows that she's going to be, the little one says, Mom, I want to be an actress. She already knows early on. Yes, Layla, the little one.
She's so cute.
Thank you.
Does she have an agent?
Not yet.
I'll be more
Her
than
dad's
happy
her
to-
agent.
Yeah. Okay.
But she's got it, and not taking anything away from my two older ones are super duper smart, which I mean at that time, my mind was not in academics. It wasn't in school. I'm sorry to say, even though it should have been.
Yeah.
But it was always up in the clouds with the music and me dreaming about performing on stage. That's where my head was at that time,
Yeah.
And so, it started at an early age at 9. And my dad would always encourage me to be in talent shows. Because back then, of course, we didn't have social media.
Yeah.
So there was a talent show going on. Johnny Canales was having a talent type of deal at, in Brownsville when he was recording his shows in Brownsville.
Back at Channel 23, right?
KVO.
Yeah, KVO, yeah.
Yeah, so that's where I had one of my shows was with him. And I remember Johnny telling me, man, you can't hear this girl sing, because I had done like a standard English song. I don't know why I did that. I should have done Spanish. But I remember him telling me, you have a voice, girl. You have a voice. Keep it up.
Yeah.
And so I did. And then I learned standard songs. I learned, your Solamente Una Vez, like standard songs. And we went to a quinceañera. I would ask the band if I could sing with them. And by the end of the show, it happened to me 3 times. They offered me jobs.
Love it.
They'd offer me a gig. And I think I took it once. I took it. And then we started gigging at, weddings, quinceañeras. And that's basically how I got my start in the Valley.
Yeah.
Then my dad's like, you can pursue the music, but you're going to have to go to college. And I was like, dang it. I thought I was going to get myself out of that one. But lucky for me, that's where I met Noe.
Yeah.
Who was he was a guitarrón player in the mariachi.
Sí.
And I was one of the lead singers for the UTRGV mariachi. And, early on I would mention to him, because I knew he was from Edcauchosa, originally from La Villa. And he told me, we're making we have a band already. And I was like, well, I'm trying to make a band. How about you join my band? And he's like, well, I'll go to your audition if you come to mine.
Ándale.
And that was kind of like the lure. And so he came to mine, and it was terrible. Like our yeah, it was terrible. And so then he's like, well, why don't you come to mine? So then we went to Gilberto Perez's studio. Yeah, in actually in Mercedes, out in the country. And that's basically where we all fell in love with each other. It was like that first, when you see them for the love at first sight.
Love at first sight.
It was. There was definitely chemistry between myself, Cande, Noe, and Javier, which is the drummer, which is Gilberto Perez's son.
Yeah.
And so there was just this I don't know. I can't explain it, other than the best way that I can explain it is when I met Lalo, and there was an energy and there was chemistry.
Yeah.
That's the same energy I felt when I was in the same
how
room
old were
with
you
them.
then?
I was 18, 19, around that. Yeah, I was.
Now, you got this new band, but when did you come up with Avante?
The record label asked, what are you going to name the band? And so we came up with a name. We kind of threw some names around, and then Avante was one of them. And I think, I guess I was outvoted, because I don't remember, I probably picked another name, and we ended up picking the name Avante. But what I did like about it is it's a very positive message. It just means to advance. It's like an Italian word.
Sure.
And so it means to advance. And so that I really liked. And so after that, Cande being he was real good friends with La Mafia.
Yeah.
And so he called up Mando one day, and I think Cande used to tour with them.
Yeah.
Like on the summers, he
Yeah.
would go with them because he was real young when he met them. And so he said, I'm going to send you 3 songs. And Mando's like, yeah, bring it, send it. And one of the songs was called Amor Eres Tú, which is a song that we recorded on that. That's the one, yeah.
I love that song.
And he fell in love with again. He felt something when he heard it.
You know what? When I hear
felt it.
When I hear your early stuff,
Mm-hmm.
I get nostalgic.
Yeah.
But even the new stuff is good. It's great.
Thank you.
But I get it makes me feel something when I hear the older stuff.
I think there's something about hearing something new,
That reminds you,
something for the first time, and I think it definitely impacted a lot of people. Amor Eres Tú, Luna Llena.
Deja tú. I wasn't even playing Tejano at the time. I was at B104.
Really?
Remember? Yeah, I was at B104 when I went over to Que Pasa.
Wow.
Anyway, so he sent the music to Mando,
Mm-hmm.
and then Mando said,
Mando was like, I want to sign you up.
cool.
And I need you guys to come up to Houston. We're going to sit down and have a couple of meetings. And so we were like, this is a dream come true.
Sure.
So after that happened, I had to break the news to my mom and dad that we were going to be traveling. And so I was going to have to quit college, which was a blessing for me. But of course, my dad wasn't too happy about that because, of course, his dream for his only daughter, his only child, was that really only had 2 more years of college to finish. But I was so gung-ho. I really wanted to commit myself and show the record label that I was really serious about my music.
And what was the label's name?
At that time was Voltage Discos, and we got signed with Henry, which is a long story.
Yes, I know.
Henry at that time kind of had a bad, messy breakup with, at that time, Oscar and Leonard, which, of course, the whole world, if you were in the music business in that time, in that era, everybody kind of knew what was going on, but they had a really bad breakup. And so in the process, it broke us away from La Mafia. So here all this time we were thinking, oh, we're going to go on the road with La Mafia. And that didn't happen. And they created Voltage Discos.
Yeah.
And then that's when they signed on a bunch of different artists.
Yeah.
So they kind of started throwing us, mostly with Palominos.
Yeah.
So I got real close to Palominos because, we were always on the road with them.
Yeah.
And so we were the underdogs at that time. And their pride and joy was Fama. Fama was going to become to Voltage. That was their golden ticket, which worked to become like La Mafia, which is what Henry wanted.
Yeah.
And so, of course, he sent other artists with them. But in that time, we got Palominos and Elida Reyna had a really cool following.
Yeah, you had a package.
And we
it
had
was a package deal.
it was a package deal, and we traveled everywhere. together as a package, which was a lot of fun. And that's when we became really close, Palominos and Elida Avante.
Yeah. Once the contract ended with Voltage, you went with...
Which was a nightmare, by the way.
Was it really? Why?
Because they didn't want to let us go, and they basically, after the first album, wanted to shelve us.
And to our subscribers, exactly how it sounds. When they shelve you, that's it. They put you on the shelf and forget about you.
Because they were upset, because we were upset. We just felt that they had apparently, we heard
you.
they made a lot of money. They were given a lot of money through Sony Discos, which, by the way, this is the first time I ever talk about it, but it was very upsetting at the time because we got word that they had gotten a lot of money just to have us on board. And so we never saw a dime of that money.
That sucks.
Yeah, it sucks. So then that's when we met Chris, and Chris kind of took us under his wing. And so after Voltage, we signed with Tejas Records.
Yeah.
And actually Chris and their attorneys were the ones that were able to get us out of the contract that we had with Voltage, or else we would have been there. We would have probably still been there.
Yeah.
But we hired a good attorney, and they were able to break us away from Voltage. So then we started up with Tejas, and then we're with Chris for the next 10 years.
10 years.
Yeah.
Was that 10 years?
When we were at our prime,
But
pretty
you know
much.
what? I mean, you guys put out some great hits.
Yeah, we
with those
did.
10
We were
years.
able to record Te Sigo Amando, Duele.
Duele. Oh my God.
Yes.
You know what? When I was talking to Sonny Osuna and several other artists about having a signature song, and your signature song, you're a powerhouse when you have several signature songs, and you definitely have several. But I think your biggest is Duele.
Yeah.
Is that correct?
Yeah, that's correct.
How did that song come about?
Well, again, being on the road, I really wanted for the music execs and everything, and there's a lot of drama that happens behind the scenes, and I was a female. Yeah. And you get that kind of bad reputation, or they want to, it's like, well, what is she going to be like? Is she going to be like a hoe and try to make it to the top, down that direction? And I took the route like, hey, I'm just concentrating on my music. Business.
Yeah.
And so then all of a sudden, she's got to be a lesbian then if she's not, because I just wanted to concentrate on my music. And so that's kind of the issues that the drama that happens behind the scenes.
Wow.
That people don't know. And at that time, there was no social media. And I would have probably, even to this day, if this was happening, I wouldn't put it on social media. Yeah. But these are some of the things that just because being a female, like, especially with everything that's happening right now with the
Me Too movement.
and that back then is like, I felt like women still were not being respected, even though Selena was definitely leading the way and she was leading the pack, even above the men, which was very admirable at the time. Sure. So for me, that was something to look forward to as an entertainer.
Yeah.
And then you want them to take you seriously because of your music, your hits. Yeah. And lucky for me that we had a hit early on, which is Luna Llena, and so then after that we had Duele.
Now, like I said, how did that song come about? Duele.
Well, Duele was written because, I was already writing. I was writing on my own, and I would collab with my bass player, Noe, and we would get together and we would write songs. But this song in particular, I was already collabing with Marco Antonio Perez, who was cerca. Yeah. And because he's from the Valley, and so he and I would hang out together. We'd all drink some wine amongst other songwriters, and we were like, okay, what are we going to write today? Some days we wrote some pretty good stuff, and then other times we just kept drinking and just like nothing, we just couldn't come up with anything.
I love it.
But I was going through a personal issue, I guess. I had fallen in love, or I thought that I had fallen in love, and I was really heartbroken, and I just started writing, and I just started writing this song. And then I asked Marco, look, I know you wanted to write this kind of song, but I have this mariachi. I want the song to be a mariachi song, and I want you to help me with it. And I've already written the first 4 lines, but I'm having trouble with this part. And then I just started singing the melody. And do you remember the guy from Duelo? Not Duelo. Not Ivan, I'm sorry. He sang the song Duele, ¿verdad que duele? Intenso.
Yes.
Okay. The singer, I can't remember his name.
Rogelio or no?
I don't.
That's all right.
Un
Anyway.
güerito. Es un güerito.
Sí.
Bien buena gente. Okay. He was there at the time. So he grabbed a bajo and he just started strumming and he just started accompanying me. We started writing the song and I was like, okay, Marco, this is what I want to say here on this part. And so because he's, es Mexicano Americano, he basically helped me write everything that was pouring out of my heart at that time. I was just so heartbroken. And, I think that's where some of the best songs come from.
Do I see tears coming to life? Oh my God! I'm sorry. Go ahead, please.
That was such a long time ago, but I mean, the hurt, is always there. And I think when I sing that song, it's always there.
I saw your video where you sang it, and it was live with some mariachi that you sang it with. But you was passionate. And you could see in the hurt. And when you said, ay, ingrato, you said something.
Yeah.
Ay,
maldito.
Quiero que me rayes la madre ahorita. Hijo de tu raza AC Cruz. How would you do it to me?
Well, I did it to you that night. You don't remember, but the night of your wedding, yeah. Oh, you want me to sing it?
No,
Oh.
I can't afford it. I can't afford to pay the royalties. Anyway, but you can say, ingrato.
Maldito AC Cruz.
I love it. My life is complete. Elida Reyna just told me off. But anyway.
You know what? And that song helped catapult me into another level.
I know.
And it also helped me, which is such a hard thing, especially being a new artist, is grabbing the attention of women and females. But I guess at that time, so many women could relate, and again, going back to the fact that we did not have social media, but when we were out there doing promotion and radio, that song was never meant to be a single. It was just going to be a filler in the album. We had a 12-track album. So we were promoting another song. But because we were listening to the songs on the radio, and I was like, well, you know what? I just really feel like hearing this song, Duele. Can we play it? Can I share it with all the women? And as soon as we shared it on the radio, the phones lit up.
I remember when you came to see me at Que Pasa.
Yeah.
And you said to me, AC, can you take out cut number whatever?
Yeah.
I said, okay, cool, no problem. And it was Duele.
Yeah.
Huge hit.
Thank you.
Major hit.
That song wasn't even supposed to be on the album. It was the last song that we put on the album. I think we even took out a song and we wrote it. It was just kind of like one of those things where we wrote it, and then drove back up to San Antonio to record it with mariachi.
Tell them about Washington, D.C.
Oh,
Please.
yeah.
By all means.
Yeah, speaking of Duele.
For those of you that didn't catch Lalo, he says, tell us about Washington, D.C. What happened?
We were invited to perform at the inaugural ball for Barack Obama when he was elected president.
Really?
Which was a big, big honor. Yes, we performed in Washington, D.C., so they flew us there. And we had, actually, we played with Michael Salgado. Michael and I performed a song together. Duele was going to be one of the songs that I was going to perform. The who's who of Latinos, like I'm talking Wilmer Valderrama, George Lopez was there, Jennifer Lopez, Mark Anthony. They were actually going to perform on the same stage that we performed at. But the funny part is that we traveled with the mariachi, and we're talking, this is a mariachi that is known worldwide. And here they were going to back me up on Duele.
Awesome.
So in the van ride from the hotel to the venue, I'm talking to the mariachi, and one of the guys sitting behind me, and he said, so who wrote your song Duele? He says, because my girlfriend sings in an all mariachi band in California. And that's actually one of the standards. I said, really? They play that song? He says, yeah. That song is known. And then he said, so who wrote it? And then I said, I wrote it. And he laughed, he chuckled, and he looks at the other mariachi guy next to him, and he goes, you didn't write that. I said, I have the CD right here. Look, there's my name. Look, there's my name right there. He shut up, but I shut him up, that's for sure. It was like one of those moments where...
Yeah. Go ahead, please, by all means.
But that night she's performing the song, and she can't see what I can see because I'm sort of on the side, and she's performing the song with the mariachi. And there's like a sort of like a VIP section that's sort of on top. It almost looked like an arena sort of thing, and there was like a second level, right?
Okay.
So all the VIPs were on the top, and they're sort of close, right? And when she started performing the chorus of Duele, when she started singing it, I looked up to the right just to kind of glance and just kind of absorb everything was happening, right? And I saw George Lopez singing with Elle, Duele.
Yeah.
And I'm thinking, there's no way
Yeah.
There's no way like he knows or he's heard this
You
song.
you remember.
Yeah. But you would never, think it had gone that far, that far out. But and the mariachi, they were called Los Camperos en Naticano. This is like Linda Ronstadt. I mean, they were like the best mariachi I'd ever heard. But me being me, I didn't know if they were gonna know the music, and so I was sort of being anal. And then they started playing.
Yeah.
They got it.
You got it.
They got it.
Yeah. I love
Amazing.
it. That must be an honor
Yes.
to people to recognize your music that far. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And the guy that you had to shut up. That's funny.
Yeah, that's definitely an experience I'll never forget, and just the fact that we performed at Grand Central Station, I believe is what it's called, and then we also did another performance at the Pentagon. So we've done a lot of really, really amazing things, in our genre of Tejano music.
Yeah.
Been able to we've, aside from the Tres Divas, we've also been able to go to Germany and Belgium and all that and perform out there for the troops too.
Yeah.
Done a lot of really, really important, really awesome things.
But I wanted to say something because when I joined, when I started producing her music 13 years ago, it wasn't like, and I've said this a few times on interviews, but I've always felt like we didn't start from rock bottom because I feel like in some cases I was given a silver platter in a sense where she already had big songs.
Oh yeah.
Right? But it's always hard to get another one. I think it's harder to get something as big as when you have a Luna Llana or Luele, right? But it took us some time, and we did this song called Prefiero Morir, which is in 2010. That actually won us the Grammy, our first Grammy.
Yeah.
And so...
Wait, your first Grammy?
Well, we have one.
Okay.
The first and only. Yeah, the first and only. I'm sorry.
I didn't realize it was
I'm sorry.
No.
The first and only. It's because we have two at the house, and one is mine and one is hers. But it's the same one. It's the same. And I forget.
We've been nominated a few times.
Yeah.
So yeah,
That's
so when we did that song, it sort of opened up the doors. But when we did Juntos with Turner, it was just like boom. It surpassed what we thought it was gonna be. And when I wrote that song with Lucky, we wrote it at a restaurant.
He told me on the podcast. You heard that, right? On the podcast?
No.
That he wrote it with you.
Yeah.
And
we wrote it at a restaurant, and my idea was to give it to Oscar from La Mafia. We never heard back from Oscar. And so Turner just happened to be in the studio, and he said, well, show it to me. I showed it to him. We went to his car, and I showed it to him. And he said, well, I'll do it. And it was the best thing that could have happened because at that time, Signal was kind of doing this number. They were just coming up, and they were gonna pop off.
And I'll be honest, I think that when Jesse heard it, I think he was like, it's good, it's good. So that when he finally recorded it, he cut the vocals. The following day when he came in, he says, man, I have not been able to get that song out of my head. So that was already a good sign that hopefully people were going to like it.
And so when, I guess it was time to shoot the video and come up with the concept for the video, and Turner, I got to admit, Turner was real hands-on with the idea, and it came out great. It's almost one of those things where he acts so good that you have to step it up. You have to step it up.
You gotta step up your game.
Yeah, because he's really portraying whatever he's feeling. That's the way Turner is. Yeah. And I'll be honest with you too. In this day where we don't have as many radio stations, and we don't have the capacity of the 90s, to have 7 million views on a song right now is pretty big.
Yeah, it is.
It's not a duele. But it's a song that we have to play every single night forever.
Right on.
Did
you like doing that song with Jesse?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I enjoyed it. Like Lalo said, I really had to step it up in the making of the video because I think he cried and he really put a lot of emotion into it. So, it got me real. I started crying. I'm crying.
Yeah.
He just really brought the best out in me, which I think is.
But don't
really
you
cool.
love that when somebody's able to do that? Yes.
And you know who else said that to me? That I brought the best out in him, or was Jimmy.
I can imagine.
Because we recorded a mariachi medley together.
Okay.
And I remember being in the studio with him, and he was kind of directing me like, okay, mija, do this here and there, and I kind of had my idea of what I wanted. So when I would do something, he's like, oh, I'm going to have to redo my part because that sounded really good. So now I got to go back and I got to do my part.
I love it.
So he did. I think he re-recorded all his part again.
I miss that man.
Yeah.
I miss that man.
We miss him because we talked to him a lot. And
yeah, we did.
You know,
he was my weatherman for a while because he would call me and say, Lalo, you're gonna go to Amarillo. It's snowing. I said, well, we gotta go, Jimmy. We gotta go play. Oh, I wouldn't go. I said, well, I gotta go.
like, okay, Jimmy said not to go, so we gotta go.
Hey, by the way, when you mentioned La Mafia, I remember in the late 90s, I think. Yeah, I had some business in Houston, and I was visiting, and I hooked up with Mando Lichtenberger, and he showed me a song of you and Oscar together. Oh, my God.
Yeah.
He still has it in the vault.
Yeah, he showed it to us.
Yeah.
It is awesome.
Yeah, a lot of people don't know about that,
I know.
which is really cool.
It is cool.
Is that,
but I would love to hear it again.
Yeah, it was a beautiful song. And yeah, apparently they have it in this vault back at Mafia Studio, Houston Studios. But a lot of people don't know that in the beginning of my career, when we thought we were going to like work with La Mafia, Mom was like, I have this song that I want you to record. And I was like, are you kidding me? You know, you want me to record a song?
Where, when,
yes.
how, whatever.
And it was a real pretty ballad.
Yes.
And then I remember they had like back in the day, they used to have like a show, like where they used to invite people in the industry to come listen to the album.
Yeah.
I think they probably still do that now. A listener party.
Yeah.
And I think they played it for everybody, but then they didn't put it on, they decided not to put it on the album because nobody knew who I was.
Well,
yeah.
It needs to be released.
Yeah.
Another thing that needs to be released, I want you to take a look at these. They're called dads. I've done this before. I did this with Palominos. I said, read off which dads these are to the podcast listeners. What do you have right there in your hand?
It says Límite and Más.
They're dads. What are dads?
Oh.
Please, Lalo.
It
I
has
have
to
no
be.
idea.
This was before. Wow, I haven't seen these in years. This is like
Digital
that's
audio
prehistoric.
tape.
treasure, sort of.
Exactly. Look what I have right here. Check it out.
Wow, Elida Reyna.
Wow.
Elida Reyna live.
Wow.
Where can you play these?
Unplugged at Tejano Saloon in the late 90s.
Wow.
God.
But nobody has a
Love to hear
DAT
that.
player. I can't. I'm serious, man. You're laughing, but I'm serious.
Wow, that's cool.
You probably have to go to yeah. Wow,
Hombre,
I'd love to hear that.
I would love to hear it.
Wow.
I don't even remember. The only one that I do remember is Límite. That was awesome.
Yeah.
Anyway, let's go ahead and jump back to the music that you've been putting out with for your records.
Yeah.
Amazing stuff. I did like the song with your daughter dancing. Suavecito.
Suavecito.
Awesome.
It's a song written by Lalo and
Actually, that song is with Jerry. Jerry.
oh, I'm sorry. Yes. I'm sorry. Yes, Jerry's a good friend of ours out of the Valley, and Jerry Alvarez. And Lalo has actually a funny story about this song because we were playing in Ed Couch of all places in a park, and it was super duper cold. And I think Miguel came by, who's also co-writer. He co-wrote this song, Suavecito, and he approached Lalo after the show. And what did he tell you, Lalo?
Well, I mean, he was there to present some stuff to Jay Bettis, and so he came up to me and he said, "Hey, man, you guys are doing 2 of my songs." And I said, "Who are you? I don't even know who you are." You know? He says, "Well, no, my name is Miguel, and I write with Jerry Alvarez." I said, "Oh, okay, man, nice to meet you." So then he says, "I have this song, man, and we were gonna give it. I don't remember what bands he said." But you want to check it out? And I said, yes, sing it to me. He didn't have a guitar, he didn't have a bajo, he didn't have an accordion, nothing. He just sang it to me, and I stopped him right when he got to the chorus. I stopped him and I called Papo, which is our bass player, and I said, Papo, you got to come listen to this, dude. This is a song that we were missing for the record. So I said, what do I have to do to get this song? He sang it not even 2 minutes, and I said, what do I got to do? He says, pues, Jerry's not here. Jerry's at a wedding, but maybe we can meet up. I said, well, can we meet up tonight? And he says, yeah, we're going to go and eat. So there we go, bro, to Taco Palenque.
In McAllen?
And no, we have one in Westlaco now, by the way. Yeah,
we're moving up.
We're moving up, bro. So we go to Taco Palenque, and I'm negotiating over tacos for that song. You know? And I just basically told him, look, I said, if you give me that song, it'll be the first single. That I can tell you. And so we do the song, and Jerry happened to be in Corpus, and Jerry said, hey, man, are you guys working? I said, yeah, come by the studio, man. Let me show you Suavecito. He comes by, and when he listens to it, he looks at me, and he's like, bro. And you know what he told me? He says, I'm going to tell you something. He says, every song finds its home.
There you go.
And I'll never forget that. because it was for somebody else, you know. And as a matter of fact, he had to change some words to fit for a female.
Yeah.
But it was just the perfect timing. So when we were thinking about the video, I thought, well, why don't we incorporate our daughter somehow? And Nombre, we don't even have to tell her twice.
Yeah.
She was there.
I love that. Watching the video, Elida, I noticed that you were having fun doing this video.
Did I look like I was having
Yes,
fun?
yeah.
The guys look like they were having more fun than me, but then again, they're guys, so they're always cracking jokes and doing silly stuff.
Yeah, I love it. But
yeah.
When I saw that, I said, you know what would be awesome? Do you remember Robert Palmer?
Yes.
Simply Irresistible.
Yeah.
All chicks.
Yeah.
That'd be cool.
You playing every instrument in the video and singing.
That's a good idea.
That's a great idea.
Yeah.
I never come up with good ideas. I come up with
I like
great
that.
ideas. Come on now. AC my fun cruise. Anyway, forget that it's been done already. Anyway, like I said, Suavecito, Llévame. I love that song as well.
Oh, thank you. A lot of people seem to like that one too.
Tell me about that song.
That's another
Llévame.
song by Jerry.
Yeah, that's another
Yeah.
Jerry song. It's just a cool song. I think, it's like one of those things where we're trying to do other things, and especially because of the market. And I guess I should say not just the Tejano, but the Norteño. Let me just say it the way it is, right? It's getting difficult to just perform at Tejano clubs because there aren't as many as we would like. So we're kind of having to veer into another market, which is the Norteño. It's
Okay.
hard,
Yeah.
especially when you're
Tejano?
pegged Tejano.
Yeah.
I mean, people know us for Tejano.
Yeah.
So, we tried a different angle with Suavecito and all that. But Llévame has kind of it's like a breath of fresh air, and you kind of hear that Elida Avante, the essence of who we are, kind of shine through that one because of the keyboard and all that.
You know what? You took the words right out of my mouth because when you said keyboards, I found that interesting. When you guys finished the song, you didn't use accordion; it was keyboards. That was awesome, man.
Right.
And I think that's why a lot of people like it
Yeah.
because in that album, I think we used a lot of accordion, and so people were. I think it was kind of refreshing, especially some friends of ours in the industry that are norteño bands. That are like, I really like that, but because that's what they know us, that's how they know
los
us.
teclados.
I was just about to say that because when we showed Rene from Intocable, we showed him some of the other stuff, and Rene he liked the stuff with the accordion. When we showed him the stuff with the keyboards, he it's because he's a fan of that stuff. He wants to hear more of what we do because it's very true. He said, "Look, I don't want to hear Elida sound like this. I want Elida to sound like Elida." And that's everything. That's the keyboards, that's the guitar, that's the bajo sexto. That's everything she's been successful for. But what's happened in the years is that Elida hasn't been writing as much, but because she feels. I don't want to speak for her, but we've had this conversation many times. Mm-hmm. When you have like Juan Trevino, when you have Miguel, and you have people like Jerry, and great writers, poets and stuff like that. She feels like, well, I can't write like that. But then I go to those writers, and they're like, bro, we don't have a song like Duele.
Yeah.
We would die to have a song like that. She's a great writer. If she needs a word to be replaced, we can find that word. But she's a great writer, and she shouldn't feel like she can't do that. So this is why I try to get more songs out of her. There was a time where I was writing a lot of this stuff, but not because I wanted to, because I felt like she has great melodies, she has great concepts, she has that essence of. She was already an artist before I was a kid.
Yeah.
And she already had those songs.
Are you a cradle robber? Is that safe?
Sorry, that came out wrong.
Yeah.
I'm sorry,
Is that safe to say?
I'm
Elida
sorry.
Reyna? Shame on you.
Sounds that way.
We were just talking about the sign from Ace of Base.
There is almost 8 year
There's an
difference
8 year.
between us.
That's all right.
Yeah.
Ain't nothing wrong with that.
Oh.
good
And
song.
we were on vacation, and I said, and it came on. I said, she goes, man, I remember that. I just graduated. I said, babe, I was in 6th grade.
I want you to take a picture in the video. You get a fist bump. That's funny shit.
Yeah, man. But no, man. So we've been very blessed. We've had a great level. We've had so much support from Freddie Records, and we've been able to have an album out every year, and we've been working a lot. But like she said, sometimes you run into that wall where you're like, man, well, maybe we should try this area.
Everybody gets writer's block.
I think Lalo gets it every year since probably, since the beginning. It was tough because in the beginning, nobody wanted to give us songs because they were like, there weren't any songwriters out there. It wasn't like back in the day with Cerca where they were just handing you songs left and right.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden it was like, we couldn't find Miguel, I forgot his name.
Mendoza.
Yes, Miguel Mendoza, who used to write for me. Marco wasn't writing anymore, and it was this like, who do you go to? So we basically had to start from scratch and start writing together. You know, we started writing songs together in a little Casio keyboard that we had back in our apartment. It was like basically personally and business wise, it was like starting all over again, scratching everything out and just starting all over.
You and Lalo started writing, and
we wrote Domingo together.
I was about to say, you guys are doing fine.
Yeah, we started writing, and then eventually I wrote Prefiero Morir.
So I'd had that song for 3 months, and it was the day of, and I said, babe, I gotta finish this song like today. I said, you have 30 minutes to write that song, because I need vocals. Like, I need to finish this record. So, bro, she walked out of that room, and I could tell she was upset, you know. So she comes in, and I'm in the control room, and there's a huge glass wall where she records the vocals. and I look over, and she has this thing. She goes like this. She was like this. She it's a song.
Yeah.
It's like this.
And
she goes like that.
Oh yeah, gave you the middle finger.
She threw me the middle finger.
But I finished the song.
And so whatever's coming out vocally, it was like real.
Yeah.
And it wound up being, that was the first single that we came with, that came out on that record, and it was that song. The phone started ringing after that song came out.
Awesome.
I'm serious, man. And then you started getting writers. Hey, well, you need some songs, and
Ándale.
I see.
Ándale.
That's the way it kind of started again.
Cabrones.
Yeah.
Toma. The reason that I grabbed this piece of paper from your hand when you tell that story, because you grabbed for the people.
Oh, sorry.
No, that's okay. It was a surprise for Elida.
Oh.
Tell me if you recognize this picture.
Oh, wow. Wow.
It's been a long time.
It
That's
sure
you
has.
and Margarita.
What year is that?
Oh, let's see. 2001, maybe? 2000.
Anyway. Look at how skinny I was.
We did a promotion at the Kmart when they were open in Westico.
Yeah.
It was like a cowboy breakfast, remember? It was
No, I don't
Livestock
remember.
Show and Rodeo. Yeah.
Wow.
I'm going to post that on my website so they can check that out.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's
awesome.
and all that, right?
Yeah. Anyway, I thought I should have you. I said, when you pulled, I said, no.
Sorry.
That's all right. Oh, goodness gracious. What a
Wow.
privilege it's been to see you guys again. Well,
Likewise.
you again. Nice to meet you.
nice.
But you don't have to, it's on display. It's on
I
display.
can look at it while we're...
Yeah, I think that was like 2001, 2002. I'm so happy for you guys. But
Thank you.
You're not going yet, okay?
Sure.
Okay. What's going on in the near future? What do you have coming up? Tours, promotions, and don't mention the one that we just found out. Not yet. Okay.
Sure. Well, we have a brand new album that just came out, Colores for 2019. And so we just started promoting that. Actually, we're already on the second or third single. And of course, it has Suavecito, Inquebrantable, and then Llévame, which we made 3 videos. So in case you haven't seen, if your listeners haven't seen the video, they're on YouTube. They can watch them.
By the way, real quick,
yeah.
on Facebook, I saw something that you posted a couple of days ago.
Uh-huh.
You were singing that Elsa Garcia, Ya Te Vi. And you were having fun.
Oh, yeah. Well, I'm a big fan of Elsa, for one.
Yeah.
She's a great friend of ours.
Yeah,
Yeah.
she's a really good friend of ours, and we look up to her immensely.
Yeah.
And so I wanted to show her, well, they were having a good time, and as you know, Turner, he plays it live.
Yeah.
And so I just got footage because I was getting ready to go on stage.
Yeah.
They invited us to go and me do like a guest
But
performance.
you were having a
surprise
blast.
performance. Oh yeah, we were having fun backstage. So I was like, yes, I got to share this with everyone. So
if you get a chance,
We're
look out
having a
for
blast.
Elida Reyna lip syncing Ya Te Vi. Anyway, the new album, go ahead.
the album just came out, Colores 2019. Not just, but it's been out a while. But we're still promoting that album. As a matter of fact, the tour that we're having right now is called Uptown Tour, Colores Uptown Tour. That's the name of our tour. And then we're already in the studio working on the next album. If there's one thing I learned from my old manager, was Chris Leak, which we were just talking about, El Greñudo, El Rockstar.
Sí.
There's one thing that he did teach me, and that was that you have to stay relevant. You have to put an album out, no matter what. You have to put an album out every year, because people are busy. They forget, or they
Sure.
move on to the next thing. And I mean, I see it with my kids now. They don't listen to Tejano music. As a kid, I didn't have a choice. But luckily, I love Tejano music.
Yeah.
So as soon as I got in the car, my mom and my dad were always jamming out to Little Joe or Tejano KIWW
Yeah.
back home.
Yeah.
I mean, that's what I listened to.
Yeah.
So that's what I grew up on. Nowadays, kids have their headphones on, their iPods on. They're not listening to Tejano. They're listening to whatever it is that they like.
Yeah.
And it's sad, but it's one of those things where my kids appreciate it. They know that that's what puts food on the table. But do they listen to Tejano? No, they don't. Layla probably listens to Tejano more because she's around the grandparents, and the grandparents are always playing, some Super Tejano back home, or, KSAB when we're in Corpus Christi. And I'm grateful to that. So now we're working on a new album. And so we've been back and forth, still with Freddie Records. We have 2 more albums that we're going to be recording under Freddie Records. And then who knows what's going to happen after that. But we're still going to continue to do what we do best and what we love, which is our passion.
Well, I'll tell you what, when you get a chance to talk to Freddie Jr., ask him if we're still on doing a cover band. He and I are going to do why are you laughing, man? Why are you laughing?
When you say
Damn.
cover band.
A tribute band, if you will.
Oh, okay.
Los Lonely Boys, he and I sing pretty good together. At least it
Yes.
sounds like that after a few beers. He and I went to see those Lonely Boys. He was with his wife. I was with my date. And we had a few. And the Lonely Boys did How Far Is Heaven. And he and I were singing. He was singing Segunda. I was singing lead. Uh-huh. And we sounded good. At least we thought we did. So, say what's up to Freddie. Anyway.
Yes, big shout out to Freddie Records and Freddie Jr., who is basically the one that we deal with, when it comes to songs and stuff like that.
50 years. This is their anniversary.
Mm-hmm.
50 years. Mm-hmm. That's amazing.
Yeah.
Another thing that I want to talk to you about is the makeup lineup. What's up with that, girl?
Yeah.
Tell me about it.
Well, I haven't talked much about my new beauty line that we are going to launch in the next week or so.
That's soon.
Yes, probably the next 2 weeks. We'll be launching a lip line. And I'm really excited about that because I had a makeup line maybe 4 years back.
Yeah.
Even before the boom on social media. And it did very, very well. We would sell out right away.
Yeah.
And that was then. And then because I had issues with the people that I was working with at the time, they weren't getting along. And I got real busy in the studio and then performing live. I just felt like I just didn't have time for the drama. So I just kind of put it aside and kept saying, one day I'll come back and I'll do something. So this opportunity came about, and basically it's just, I get a lot of compliments on social media. Like, I love your lipstick. I love this. I love that. What are you wearing? What is that? So I thought, why not create my own lip colors? So we created 3, and we're going to be launching them within the next 2 weeks, God willing. And then we're doing a big launch with a photo shoot, a video, and all that good stuff. So I'm really excited about it, especially because
Do you have a name for the lip line?
It's actually called Colores. Colores, and it was meant to come out with the album.
Okay.
But again, we got so busy at that time. It was such a busy time. We were on tour,
Yeah.
coming in and out, and we just didn't have time to launch it at that time.
Yeah.
Now is the perfect time, I feel. So now we're getting ready to launch this.
So the new lipstick or lip line is called Colores?
Yeah, it's just Elida Reyna.
By
By
Elida
Elida
Reyna.
Reyna, yes.
Awesome. Now, aside from that, you also invested quite a bit of money in a event center or a salon. Please
Yes.
tell me about that.
Everybody knows that I was raised in Mercedes, Texas, and always wanted to. My best friend, her name is Leti Flores. She's been basically my right hand, aside from Lalo's one hand and she's the other. She's basically the one that has helped me raise my kids, my parents too, but she has basically been there for everything, every up and down. She's been there. We were talking about opening a business together, and then one day I was driving by this building and I fell in love with it, and I said, and it was in Mercedes. I could have opened my business in Westlaco, but I said, no, I'm from Mercedes, and I want to open, whatever I open is going to be in Mercedes, regardless. It's un pueblito.
It's because she wants her face on the water tower. That's why. I always say that.
Tinaco, we just said Tinaco. You know what?
Like,
it wasn't until I moved to the valley that it was called a Tinaco. I didn't know that.
I didn't know it was called a Tinaco.
I did not know it was a Tinaco. It's a water tower.
Yeah.
Anyway,
Crazy,
please continue. Please tell me.
But well, that's not why. But I
Yes,
just,
it is.
no, it's not. But I love my community. I love where I grew up, and it was just a way to say thank you and open up something downtown. And we have a humongous downtown, right? My friend Paul is here too.
Hello, Paula.
And so it's just a little salon, and it fits about 100 people, but it's perfect for bridal showers,
Yes.
weddings, birthday parties.
Awesome.
And we decorate. Again, going back to Letty's on it. She's basically the manager. So when I'm out of town, she's the one that's booking the events there for us. And who knows what this can turn into.
You're quite
Because-
the entrepreneur.
Well, I always had dreams aside from
course.
the music. I love what I do, but there's also that entrepreneurial side of me that I've always wanted to explore it and see if I can do it. Y como dicen, you just got to go for it. We'd been thinking about it for years, and I was like, oh, I'm scared. It's not the right time. And finally, I just plunged in, and I just said, I'm just the heck with it. I'm just going to do it.
Yeah.
And if it doesn't work, it doesn't work.
There you
But
go.
at least I tried.
There you go. It's been so great to talk to you. It's great to see you. Lalo, pleasure.
Thank you.
Pleasure to meet you.
Thank you for having us. I was looking forward to it almost all week.
He's heard a lot of great things about you. That's
Yeah,
why.
of course.
She already knows me. Nah, that's just AC. That's just AC.
But I hadn't seen you in years.
It's great to see you.
So it's great to see you, and it's great to. It just feels like old times. It
I
really
know, right?
does. Yeah.
But listen, real quick, before we go anywhere, you came bearing gifts to our subscribers.
Yes.
Tell me what those gifts are.
We're having a Mother's Day mariachi concert, like an unplugged somewhat, up close and personal, here at La Margarita restaurant, downtown San Antonio.
At Market Square.
Market Square.
Yeah.
One lucky mom, if her daughter or her son would like to take her, we're going to give that away. We welcome everyone. There's still tickets available. There's still room, and I'll be
Right.
performing the all-female mariachi called Las Coronelas. So that's another thing that I'm really excited about. And Isabel Marie will also be performing. So it includes dinner as well. The lucky mom will also get have dinner and a performance by myself and Isabel Marie. And it's $100 ticket. So with that, you get to see two performances. One of myself with Las Coronelas and Isabel Marie as a special guest. And this is going to take place on May 10th, Friday. And this is all brought to you by BLG Management.
And of course, Elida Reyna.
And
Come on.
yours
hello.
truly,
I
yours
love
truly.
it.
Yes, definitely. So we look
Excellent.
forward to seeing you.
And I do want to stress it's it's sort of for 100 people.
Oh,
because
goodness.
because it's not a this is something we're trying to plan every year, but we're thinking, okay, well, let's do it like this for now until, because in the Valley we had they had an amazing night in the Valley, and it was almost too small for what the attendance that came out. So we figured, well, why don't we do something in Valentine's in the Valley, and then do something for Mother's Day in San Antonio, and continue to do these mariachi events. Get your tickets now, because once we get to about 100, we have to sort of shut it down.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But like I
Awesome.
said, it's so awesome, and it's something that I've never done here in San Antonio. And I think it's something that, everybody's going to enjoy. It's Dia de las Madres. Again, bring your
And
moms.
don't be a
bring your
tightwad.
wives.
Yeah, don't be a tightwad. Do something special for mom. She gave birth to you, damn it.
Definitely. And you know what? I'm sure a lot of places are going to be booked, or, you might not even find place to have a nice dinner for your
Yeah.
mom or for your wife. So bring them to La Margarita. Again, it's on May 10th.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Elida, thank you so much.
Thank you, AC.
Lalo, pleasure to meet you, brother.
Nice to meet you.
Continued success.
Thank you. Likewise.
Thank you so much.
We love you.
Love you too. Let's go ahead and wrap this up the way we do. If you like the podcast, tell your friends. And if your friends don't like it, find new friends. So just chill till the next episode of Cruise Control with AC Cruz behind the mic.